Hey guys, this is Serebii here, and following the response to the last video I did, which showcased the gravity and hypnosis combination which I took to the UK National Championships earlier this year, I've decided to create another video to show you another of the more unusual strategies that I run. Now this combination is one which I often used in the VGC 2014 metagame last year, and I still use it to bring my battle spot score back up after I've had a bad run testing various other combinations. However, in the 2015 metagame it isn't quite as functional as it was last year. Now this strategy focuses upon Gourgeist and its signature move Trick or Treat. Now what Trick or Treat does, if you're not currently aware, is it adds the ghost type to the various Pokemon. Now this means you can create Pokemon which have 3 types. For example, after having the move used on it, Landorus will be Ground Flying Ghost, Gardevoir would be Psychic Fairy Ghost, and so on. Now this opens them up to being weak to Ghost and Dark type moves and can nullify the resistance to those moves. However, as both Ghost and Dark types are only super effective to Psychic and Ghost type Pokemon, there is no way of making a Pokemon which has an 8 times weakness to that move. That said, there are still currently 3 Pokemon who will resist Dark type moves after the move has been used on it. So if you see them, don't do it, just don't. Now this strategy runs with Gourgeist and Mega Tyranitar. Now I chose Mega Tyranitar because it has a massive physical attack with the Dark type stab. But you may want to go with something more special focused due to the proliferation of Intimidate and Burn using moves such as Will-O-Wisp and especially Scold in this current metagame. Now with Gourgeist you'll want to go with the supersized form because this gives it added bulk and it reduces its speed, which is perfect because this strategy is meant to be done in a Trick Room. Now even though it's in Trick Room, some things will still outspeed Mega Tyranitar such as Mega Mawile, Azumarill and even Sylveon, which can cause significant damage if not KO Tyranitar easily. So if you see those, either use Protect on the Tyranitar and unset the Trick Room, or run as fast as you can and bring in something which can destroy them. Now, Gourgeist also has Trick or Treat, obviously, because that's the main thing of this strategy, and Shadow Sneak, which gives it a Ghost-type priority move. Now this can help do decent damage if you've already set Trick or Treat on both of your opponents and you're worried that your Pokemon are about to be knocked out by them. Now for the hold item, Leftovers can be used to negate the damage done by Sandstorm because it's teamed with a Mega Tyranitar, or Safety Goggles, or alternatively you can use a Mental Herb to protect against any taunts. Now for nature I went with Impish or Careful to give it some added extra bulk. The choice is yours. Now with Mega Tyranitar I go with Protect because it's obvious Protect is necessary sometimes. Crunch, which is the linchpin to this strategy because it has the Dark type stab and can do significant damage. Rock Slide, which can help deal with the pesky Flying and Fire type Pokemon which are a threat to Gourgeist. And the last move is up to you. You can use Ice Punch, Earthquake, or whatever you want to use. Now obviously it's holding the Tyranitarite, and it has the Adamant Nature to increase its attack stats. But you may, if you want, go with a nature which is plus attack and minus speed. It's up to you. Now what I'm going to do now is show you a video of the strategy going on in a battle against my friend Marty, who was top 8 in the UK a couple of years ago, and she often still streams on Twitch. So let's get this started. Okay, now my opponent sends in Zapdos and Suicune, which is an interesting lead combination. It has a double pressure, which can be devastating to a lot of strategies. And so I start, well, the Sandstorm starts up, obviously, thanks to Tyranitar's ability, and Gourgeist has got Frisk, but you can use whatever you wish to use. So in the first turn, I use Protect with the Tyranitar to make sure I am protected, but Zapdos goes in with a Heat Wave, which I probably should have predicted, which does decent damage to the Gourgeist, but because Gourgeist is bulky, it can survive it. And the Suicune used Tailwind because I guess they weren't assuming I was going to use Trick Room. Now, alternatively, if you see something that's a threat to Gourgeist in the first turn, use Protect on the Gourgeist and Rock Slide with Tyranitar. Now as Sandstorm hits, which does chip away at the opponents and it makes things like Focus Sashes useless, and Gourgeist gets the health back using Leftovers. Now in the second turn, Tyranitar Mega Evolves, though you may wish to do that in the first turn so it's got the speed straight away. Now Gourgeist goes in for the Trick or Treat onto the Zapdos. which makes it Electric Flying Ghost, and Tyranitar uses Crunch, which will do super effective damage on it now, and one-hit KO it. Now Suicune goes for the Scald, which is expected onto the Mega Tyranitar, but its special defense is boosted in the Sandstorm, and thankfully it didn't burn my Tyranitar. We've got the Sandstorm hitting. Okay, now my opponent sends in her next Pokemon, which is a Kangaskhan, and Mega Evolves it straight away, so it may not have Scrappy as its ability. Now what I do here is I use Gourgeist to do the Trick or Treat onto Tyranitar, because Kangaskhan is often seen with Power Up Punch or Low Kick. Now I go for the Rock Slide to hopefully flinch the opponent, but it only hits Suicune. Now Suicune sees that Gourgeist is the threat and goes for the Ice Beam, but Gourgeist just manages to hold on. Now Kangaskhan goes for the Low Kick, but thankfully it doesn't hit Tyranitar because now it's Rock Dark Ghost. And so the 4 times weakness to fighting is now gone, which is good considering how dominant fighting type moves are in the current metagame. Okay, now Kangaskhan goes for the Sucker Punch onto Gourgeist, but Gourgeist uses Trick or Treat onto the Suicune, which is a good option. And then Tyranitar uses Crunch, which once again will one-hit KO the Suicune. And it is down and out. Now, once again, the Sandstorm is still hitting, but the leftovers still negate the damage to the Sandstorm. And now the Tailwind is out, but that's not really an issue. And she sends out Garchomp. Now, Gourgeist uses Trick or Treat onto the Mega Kangaskhan. And then Tyranitar once again uses Crunch, and it should do significant super effective damage and knock out the Mega Kangaskhan in one hit. And once again go for the Rock Slide, Tyranitar evades, but Gourgeist is now out, so the showcase of this strategy is now over. So the next Pokemon I send out to finish this, after now the Sandstorm's dead and Trick Room is done, is my Malamar, which is the linchpin to many of my teams now. So the Garchomp goes in for the Earthquake, which does decent damage, but it doesn't quite knock out Tyranitar. And Malamar uses Knock Off. Now this is another decent thing, because if Trick or Treat is done before Knock Off, then it's super effective. Got a critical hit and knocked off the Lumberry, and Malamar gets some health back. And then Tyranitar uses Crunch, and the battle is well and truly done, and that is the showcase of this strategy. And the Garchomp is down, and there goes the battle. So thank you very much for watching. If you think you can use this strategy better, then let me know, because there are various other Pokemon you can team with Gourgeist to make this work. Now if this video gets decent reception, then I will once again do another video using one of my crazy strategies, but until then you can find me at Serebii.net, and thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.